Hey everyone, my name is William. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be picking up back in the TBM 930 for another FSEconomy flight. We'll be flying from Omega to Ambriz in Angola. A bit of a longer flight today, but very high paying job and a new region to explore. So let's go ahead and get into the planning so we can get on with the flight. I hope you all enjoy. Take a quick look here at the FSEconomy page just so you can see what the job looks like. Like I said, we'll be going from Omega to Ambriz. It's 807 nautical miles up to the northwest. Did move the aircraft from where we left it last, as we needed to get some Jet A on board and they were charging about $10 a gallon. So need to pick up some fuel, but you could see this is not too far from, it's just about 30 miles from where we were. And they have Jet A on sale for about half the price. So we're going to take advantage of that here. And like I said, 807 nautical miles to the northwest, 7 passengers paying $22,000. Good paying job. And this is what it looks like here in FSEconomy. So we'll be departing out of Omega, flying up to a couple points along the way, and hitting into Ambriz. So there's some storms kind of in the area of Ambriz, and also we're looking at a very long dirt runway for our arrival. So should be fun, interesting new area to kind of fly into. So I hope you all enjoy the flight. Let's go ahead and get into the airplane so we can get out of here. Welcome on board the TBM, everybody. So we are just about ready to go. We got our FSEconomy client open here. We're going to go ahead and go in and start the flight. You can see it. Our passengers are loaded up and the timer is now clicking. So we'll go ahead and hide the client now. We have our aircraft started up. We got a pushback already from the lovely ground crew. So we'll just go through and make sure everything is kind of turned on the way we want. Make sure the bleed's on. We're getting a little crazy with the camera there. The autopilot trim is on. Fuel tank selection is set to auto. All that good stuff. Sometimes it's just easy to overlook that. Our wind looks like it's out of the northeast, and our runway available here for departure is 0725, so we're gonna use runway 07, which does mean we'll probably be doing a bit of a back taxi, but we'll go ahead and set that up in the heading bug and then come through, kind of set the aircraft up a little bit more before we start our taxi down. So I'll go ahead and go through that, and I'll get back with you guys before we start our taxi here. Alright, so we are about ready for our taxi now. You can see on the map here, this is runway 07 all the way down, so we're just going to turn around, go out, take the runway, back taxi down, use that little turnaround, and get on out of here. So we'll go ahead and deactivate our parking brake, and we'll make a turn to the right on the ramp here. Also go ahead and get our taxi light on. Thank you for the ground crew for not gouging us on the price of Jet A here. I assume it's whoever has the FBO set up at the other airfield probably has their Jet A there for them, and don't necessarily want to be sharing unless you really, really want to pay for it. So that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. We managed to pick up a pretty high-paying job out of the deal, so can't really complain. We will just taxi up here, hold short, make sure everything looks clear, and make a left turn onto the runway. Back taxi all the way down. Alright, we're coming up to... There's no hold short marker here, but we're coming up to about the start of the runway. So make sure we're kind of clear of these trees over here so we can see. Alright, runway looks clear over there. Looks clear on y'all's side of the plane as well, so we'll go ahead and take the runway and make a left. Let's get our takeoff flaps out at this point. Get back in our seat. Alright, we'll just taxi on down and make our turnaround here at the end. Alright, we're about to turn around here at the end of the runway. We'll be doing straight out departure basically, of just flying 070, climbing up. We have our cruise altitude planned today for 30,000 feet. Trying to get some sweet, sweet ground speed out of the plane today. But as always, we'll kind of play it by ear as we're going on up. Very clear weather, hot temperatures here. And yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy, but we will see what it looks like whenever we're climbing on up. I'm going to be rotating at 90 knots today, trying to climb out around 135, 140, I think is what I'm going to shoot for the climb out. And we're going to try out the flight level change mode since the update and see if it's actually working now. Hopefully so. So let's go ahead and set the power. And release the brakes. Let's get rolling. Alright, airspeed is alive. As I said, we're looking for 90 knots. Rudder pedals are quite twitchy. Just trying to hold center line here. There's 90. Go ahead and rotate. And gear up. Pull the power back just a little bit. We definitely do have a positive rate. Let's get our flaps up. Go ahead and go yaw damper on. And we'll come down and we will click the inertial separator off as well. Get some more airflow into that engine. Let's go ahead and pull the power back a little bit. That way it doesn't go too overboard. Climbing up through 1,000 feet, so we'll go ahead and make our left-hand turn now. Start a little bit more directly on course to our first point. We'll go ahead and arm the nav mode. I have to pitch the nose down a little bit. Pull the power back. We're almost redlining it. Look around outside. Try and fly about 305 will work. And we'll go ahead and arm the flight level change mode. We'll set it for 135. Now then, let's go for autopilot. It'll get a little bit more aggressive with capturing our course here. Let's see how the flight level change mode works out. Should be just fine if what I've read about the patch is correct. We can go ahead and get our landing light off at this point. Double check everything. Make sure it all looks good. We're looking good so far, about 7,500 feet. Like I said, we're going to be going all the way up to flight level 300 or 30,000 feet. Look how good the visibility is out today. You can see some clouds off in the distance. And then just absolutely clear off to the north. That's the direction we're going. Roughly anyways. Off towards the northwest. So we are direct to our first point, Charlie Victor. It is 241 nautical miles out from us. And we'll see what a difference this ground speed makes. Right now we're doing 155 while we're in the climb, 2,000 feet a minute. 241 miles. And it's showing an hour 33. The TBM is a bit of a rocket ship, so we will just continue to climb up. And once we get higher and higher, our airspeed will build. Once we level out for sure, we'll really start pouring on that airspeed, and we'll probably get that down at least, my guess would be 40 minutes. We will see what the wind decides to do, whether it's going to help us out or hurt us, but kind of looks like there's waves in the terrain, in the color. I think it's a little bit more noticeable at the right, but it does look flat as could be. Interested to see what the 7,500 foot dirt airstrip is like that awaits us at the end of this flight. We'll pull back on the torque a little bit there. Gotta remember, we're continuing to climb. I think they did get the flight level change mode fixed, which is very nice. I am a big fan of using it. So now I can just set the aircraft on 135 knots, and it's not, before, if you're not sure why I'm making a big deal out of it, the plane would oscillate up and down really badly if you were trying to use flight level change mode, in some conditions anyways. I know some people said that they had ways that they could kind of work around it, but the fact that I've just been able to basically use it as my primary vertical speed mode so far, feels really good. So we're almost halfway there in our climb. Everything still looks good. We're gonna have to pull the power back a little bit more. Trying to keep it on a decent climb setting, but making sure we stay on top of our torque there as we continue up. You can see we're still doing 135 knots indicated, but our ground speed has now gone up to 172. It's because our true airspeed has gone up. Air is getting thinner. And it looks like the wind is completely conked out as well. It's back now, just 1 knot. Now it's out of the south. So not a whole lot of wind. I won't really complain. It'd be nice to have a tailwind, as always, but it is also nice to just not have a headwind, so we'll kind of see what it does. It is picking up out of the south now. Pull back on that torque setting. We're almost at 18,000. Yeah, that makes it a little bit more clear of kind of what I was talking about with the waves. A little less eventful than our climb out of South Africa with all the icing and everything we experienced flying through that thunderstorm. We're at 18,600 now, almost to just 11,000 feet to go. Alright, we're almost to 1,000 feet to go in the climb for 30,000. I went ahead and switched it on over to vertical speed mode just to kind of smoothen out the transition and start working on increasing our airspeed a little bit as we're getting closer and closer to 30,000. You can see the wind has kind of come back around. It's now out of the south at just about 5 knots. Not a huge difference, but that is a tailwind, so we must be doing something right today to be graced with a tailwind. And you can see how much our speed is coming up on the ground speed side of things. 150 knots indicated, 244 true, and 248 across the ground, and we're not even leveled out yet. We're going to keep this power setting in. Once we do capture 30,000, we're just 500 feet to go at the moment. Once we've captured 30,000, like I said, we're going to keep the power setting in, build up our airspeed as much as we can, and then we'll set the power setting for about 55 gallons per hour or somewhere around there to get the kind of fuel flow I'm expecting for the flight. So let's just kind of let it capture here, see what we can get up to as far as a cruise speed, and hopefully we'll be looking at about no more than about 3 hours for the entire flight. You can already see our estimated time is it's more than halved, basically. We're still not even up to 300 knots across the ground. I love the TBM. This thing is a monster. Alright, after a little bit of time just letting it build up the airspeed, we have managed 205 basically indicated, which translates right now to 300, well, it just clicked up, 333 knots across the ground. Looking at 33 minutes to our first point, which is 183 nautical miles away, and that will get us in to our destination of Ambriz, well, under 3 hours. So fantastic performance here, as to be expected with the TBM. All the way up here at 30,000 feet. We'll take in the sights, look at the beautiful scenery, and continue on our way. I'll check in with you guys in a bit. We're still cruising along at 30,000 feet. Do have a bit more of a tailwind now, doing about 340 knots across the ground. You can see the cloud cover is definitely picked up. Not a whole lot to see anymore for this part of the flight, but I hope you enjoyed the views up to this point. I was expecting it to get pretty stormy once we got up towards our destination, as we get closer and closer to the coastline here, but hopefully we'll be able to make it into Ambriz just fine. Not ready to start our descent yet. We're just now about 6 nautical miles from our last fix before we proceed direct to the airport, and we're looking at just under a minute until we are there. So just about the airport real quick, runway 1634. Like I said, it's about 7,500 feet. It is a dirt strip. Not expecting much of a ramp or anything at the airport, so we'll kind of just have to play it by ear once we get down there, but should be pretty interesting. We should be right along the coastline as well, so airfield is, since it is on the coastline, basically at sea level, so we're going to wait for our descent a little bit. See, we are direct now. It's 162 nautical miles until we are at the field. We're showing 28 minutes. And we're probably going to wait for our descent until we're about 13 or so minutes out from the field. So we got about 15 minutes left to cruise along, keep our speed up, and keep out of all that soup down there for a little bit longer. So we'll be back before too long to start our way down. Let's just kind of enjoy the speed for the last little bit. Alright, we are just about 13 minutes estimated time away from our destination. That time will go up a little bit as we start to descend, lose some airspeed. I think I want to extend just a little bit past 13 minutes, but not much more before we start down. Like I said, field elevation's almost sea level, sea level. So we're going to go ahead and descend all the way on down to basically 1,000 feet. Runway 16, tree 4. Right now the wind's kind of sort of out of the south. It's mostly out of the east. It's been kind of between about 100 and like 120 for this last little bit of the flight, and it's going further towards the east. We'll see what it looks like once we get lower. Runway tree 4 would be pretty much a straight in for us, which would be nice. But if we need to circle around for runway 16, we'll definitely go for that. We just passed 13 minutes estimated away, so we'll go ahead and start our engage vertical speed there, and we'll go down to 2,000 feet a minute. And we will pull the power back as well. I don't really need to add airspeed here since we kind of stayed up at cruise for as long as we did. We can let it sit basically right around this 213, 215-ish range, but let the speed not necessarily come down, but kind of stay even as we start our way down. Let's see. It is a dirt strip. I'm expecting, obviously you can see all the cloud cover out in front of us, around us. I'm expecting it to be a little bit stormy, so I'd kind of expect some winds. We have no frequencies or anything we can really tune up for the airport to see what the weather looks like on the ground, but we'll just have to play it by ear once we get a little bit closer. So in the descent now, we're looking at about 12 minutes out of the field currently, 28,000 feet, and we're on our way down. Just passed below 18,000, so we're going to go ahead and set to local pressure 2983. We got that set up. Wind is actually increased. It's up to 17 knots. I see flashes of lightning, occasional rumble of thunder as well that we're hearing so far. Still not any better of an idea really of what we're going to be doing as far as runway choice. You can also see we basically held right around 214 on the way down so far. Our ground speed though has fallen, even though the wind's kind of picked up, just because our true airspeed's gone down. But we're looking at 7.5 minutes from the field, and we're just now coming through about 16,000 feet. So, 7 minutes exactly, 14,000 feet. That'd be right on schedule as far as the descent goes. But we'll continue to slow, so not too worried about it. And also just double checking, we've got 70 gallons of fuel in the aircraft. Worst case scenario, we always could turn down to the south, and there's some major airports not too far away towards our south if we need a better place to land. But we're going to try our best to make it in to Ambriz. That's pretty much all we've got so far. We need to get a little bit closer before we can start actually figuring it out. Most importantly, though, I will say the outside air temperature is now actually above freezing, as we're about to get into some very heavy clouds. We'll also go ahead and turn on the inertial separator at this point, and yeah, we'll kind of leave it at that for the moment, and we'll go ahead and get our landing light on as well. As we start our way down, we're going to be getting into some real soupy weather here. It's been a while, but hopefully it kind of clears up. Once we get a little bit lower, we can get a nice visual on the runway and make a nice approach in. Alright, we're about to enter the very ominous looking blanket here. Right around 9,000 feet so far. Definitely could just level off here and fly into the clouds, but we're gonna plunge down into it. We have no idea really what the bottom of the clouds are at, so we're just gonna keep our eyes on the instruments. And yeah, hopefully we'll pop out at least around 3,000 feet or so. Feel really comfortable. Get our eyes on the runway. Should be It is a dirt strip, but it should be about 30, or I'm sorry, should be about 7,500 feet long, somewhere in there. I think I've said that multiple times now, but whoa, got a big old gust of wind or something going on there. You see what happened to the rudder as we entered. This is a gnarly storm. We're gonna send it through though. Got a little distracted. Like I said, watching the instruments, making sure nothing too crazy happens. Yeah, it's getting a little bit gnarly as we're getting into here. The autopilot is flying. We'll go ahead and we'll pull the power back a little bit, reduce our speed. That way, reduce some stress on the airframe. The rudder is going. We're really getting some wind shear or something. Yeah, anyway, 7,500 foot runway, so we should be able to see kind of what we're looking at as far as the runway. It should be pretty easy to spot, hopefully. I think that's what I was trying to say. I got a little distracted there. We are just plunging into this thunderstorm. Wind's only showing 5 knots. We're definitely getting bounced around a little bit. There's 4,500 feet. We still keep popping out of the clouds. We'd like to make it through the clouds here. We'll go ahead and we'll put 1,500 in. Oh, we can see the ground. Okay, I feel a little bit better about this now. Just keep coming down. No wind data at the moment. Let's go ahead and plug in a heading. We'll do 340. We'll see if we can straight in. Oh, look at that. That's crazy. About 8 miles away from the field. We need to slow the aircraft down anyway, so we'll go ahead and pull the power back. And let's go ahead and that's got to be our runway. Look at that. That looks like a nice long strip. That has got to be the runway. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and get the plane leveled out a little bit more. Let's get down to 178 knots. We'll go approach flaps, get our landing gear out, and then I'll take over manual control at that point, I think. Alright, so we're coming up on 178. Gear down, approach flaps out. This looks like another world. It's awesome. Okay. Whoa! Yeah, big hit on the yaw trim. Not a fan of that. Yaw damper off. Take over manual control here. Go ahead and pull the power back. We're gonna fly up to the coastline here and then circle back in. Just try and level out and get slowed down enough to get our main flaps out. Into the white arc we go. Full flaps. We'll start the nose down even more. This looks crazy. Absolutely beautiful though. And look at that dirt strip. Alright, our approach speed today, we're going to be shooting for about 85 knots. We got to descend quite a bit here. Go ahead and get a little bit of power in though. That is definitely our airstrip in sight. Wind looks like it's about 3 knots, and it's actually about 230. It's not really enough of anything to warrant landing a certain direction. So we'll go ahead and stick with runway tree 4, which we are about to be on final for. We're holding about 90 knots. Make sure I do have this thing trimmed out right after that autopilot. That was so abrupt. That's my fault, but still. sit up in the seat a little bit. Just didn't want to sit that high. I don't see any kind of obvious ramp or anything, so we'll probably taxi down. Let's try and find a decent place to park. We're almost on speed. Holding about 86 knots. Just fly it all the way down. Plenty long runway, so we can kind of take our time. Go for a nice, hopefully soft landing here, right on the coast. Feet. Alright, there's 50. Pull the power out. Flare. Whoa. And gently let the nose down here. Just keep pulling back. I don't want to get too hard onto the brakes or anything. Keep the nose light. I think we might... Not 100% sure. It looks like there's a building off to our right. I'm not sure if that's a place to pull off or not. Or we could just taxi all the way to the end. Let's have a zoom in and see if there's any kind of... Looks like there's some sort of a ramp way up in front of us. Guess we'll go all the way down there. Let's see what that looks like, whatever that is. Alright, well, welcome, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the flight. Interesting weather. I think something happened in the last update to some of my curves on my rudder pedals and my flight controls. Just my flight controls in general, everything. Excuse me, everything but the throttle. Because that felt really peculiar when trying to flare. But yeah, we got these little buildings over here. We'll park up there. There's a car just cruising across. Just instantly turns around. Love to see it. Alright, let's turn off to the left here. Quite clearly the FBO, obviously. We'll park the aircraft up and complete our flight. So we get clear of the runway. That's a really cool dirt strip. And, I mean, completely different scenery than where we left. I really enjoyed that flight. Let's go ahead and set our parking brake, and we will see it complete our flight here. Make sure I hit that master warning. And there we go. Our aircraft is now in Ambriz. That is a high-paying job in the books. I hope you all did enjoy the flight today, and might have been put together a little bit differently. And the flying, not necessarily the smoothest, but I think that's just some stuff I gotta change after the update. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I love having you guys along. Thank you so much for all the support, and I hope you all enjoyed the flight, like I said. So, until next time, bye-bye.